My first marriage was a tumultuous one. We were young, foolish, and rushed into it at the age of 18. Despite our age, we managed to last almost 15 years together. Eventually, we quietly and peacefully separated, each pursuing our own interests. I made sure to always be there for my son, taking him places, spending weekends and vacations with him. So when I met Katya and we developed a serious relationship, I made it clear that my son would always be a part of my life. She wholeheartedly supported this decision, understanding the importance of family. Behind Katya's past was an extremely unhappy marriage. She had divorced her husband, who continued to be a source of stress in her life. Unfortunately, he had also neglected their daughter. Katya often reassured me, saying, "Your dedication to your son after the divorce proves that not all men are terrible." While her words were comforting, I didn't want to be compared to her ex-husband. According to her, he was an abusive and alcoholic man. Even after their divorce, he continued to harm her, though he was careful to hide his actions from others. He would inflict his abuse in places where no one could see, avoiding her face. Eventually, her ex-husband became a nuisance, causing constant stress. He even handed the keys to some untrustworthy individuals who proceeded to harass and threaten her. Despite reporting these incidents to the police, her statements were ignored. Her ex-husband's friend found amusement in her situation. To ensure her daughter's safety, Katya had to rent a new place to live. It was a necessary precaution since she couldn't take any risks with these troublesome individuals. Moving away and changing the locks were temporary measures, but she had to do whatever it took to protect her daughter. After all, one can never be too careful when dealing with people of uncertain intentions. I listened intently, bewildered by the situation unfolding before me. The actions that were being described seemed incomprehensible, especially when considering the familial bond involved. It appeared that Katya's daughter, Lyra, was an exceptional young girl, shouldering numerous responsibilities around the house and excelling in her studies at the same time. She displayed great talent in art, which even earned her recognition in exhibitions. Instantly, a connection formed between Lyra and myself, and she placed her trust in me remarkably quickly. My first course of action was to assist Lyra in evicting illegal tenants from their home. I helped her find a lawyer and drafted a statement to the prosecutor's office, expressing our concerns regarding the inaction of the police. Eventually, we managed to regain ownership of the apartment, as Katya had initially intended to sell it. However, I proposed an alternative: to keep the apartment for Lyra's future. As she grew older, she would have the choice to live there independently or sell it if she so desired. Surprisingly, Katya agreed with my suggestion. Time went on, and Katya and I decided to take our relationship to the next level. We got married, solidifying our commitment to each other and our shared responsibilities. I took the necessary steps to adopt Lyra, personally seeking out Katya's ex-partner to relinquish his parental rights. To my surprise, he agreed without hesitation, revealing his true nature and insignificance. Soon, Katya became pregnant, and we realized that it was necessary to expand our living conditions. The good news was, our funds allowed for it, especially since there was a promotion on the horizon for me in the coming year. However, as time passed, the promotion never came. The company underwent changes, and the new bosses brought in their own team, making it difficult for me to secure my position and avoid potential layoffs. Despite these challenges, I would often stay late, putting in extra effort to safeguard my job. To find solace and relaxation on weekends, I turned to fishing. It served as a much-needed outlet for me, without ever becoming excessive or all-consuming. Occasionally, I would enjoy a drink on Friday or Saturday night, but I always made sure not to overindulge. After all, everyone copes with stress in their own way. There were moments when I would gather the kids and bring them to a park for the day, allowing Katya to have some well-deserved rest. However, despite my efforts, things took a negative turn. Katya began to criticize me for having a beer or two on Fridays. Then came her disapproval of my fishing trips, claiming I wasn't dedicating enough time to her and the children. With each passing day, these reproaches grew stronger and more relentless. It reached a point where she accused me of almost being an alcoholic and threatened to take the children away from me. That's when my suspicions started to rise. I noticed a sudden change in her appearance, a new wardrobe and more frequent use of makeup, which she used to reserve only for special occasions. Additionally, our younger daughter started spending more time with Lyra and even made some hurtful comments about my presence, expressing annoyance with my behavior and beliefs. It was shocking to hear these words from my own child. One day, by pure coincidence, I saw my wife with her ex-husband. However, what hurt me the most was the scene I witnessed at a summer cafe. There they were, sitting together, him, her, and Lyra. The sight of him affectionately hugging our daughter while Lyra sat there, seemingly distant but not removing her hands, darkened my mood. I wanted to confront them, but I held back, not wanting to upset Ksiusha. When we returned home, I couldn't contain my anger and confronted Katya. However, instead of a rational conversation, she seemed to take pleasure in provoking me. It was as if she had changed completely, as if she had been replaced. She taunted me, challenging me to lay a hand on her. The words she uttered pierced me deeply, calling me weak, spineless, and suggesting that her ex-husband was a real man compared to me, a man who had mistreated her and abandoned their daughter. In a fit of frustration, I told her that I couldn't bear to have her in our lives any longer, and that the children would be better off with me, away from her influence. No, I didn't have any intention of giving away that person's children. Let's not forget about Chyler's daughter. He is her father, and she knows it. It was painful to witness how someone who neglects their responsibilities and wants to take away the children's living space can be called a father. She left. She left with Lurka. I don't even know what they told her, but all she kept repeating was that he is her daddy, and she missed him. But Ksiusha, she left me, completely disregarding her and treating her like an unnecessary object. And then the calls from different authorities started, and that's when I learned about the legal matters concerning guardianship. Unfortunately, this is not an uncommon occurrence, where they simply try to take away your child and your home. Well, she abandoned her daughter. On a general note, her ex-husband learned his behavior during my marriage to Katya. He also got married. And of course, he had children. But just like the situation with Lyra, he had no interest in getting to know them. The child support debt was significant, and his wife left him with nothing in the divorce. They tried to pull the same scheme with me. However, Katya was careless enough to abandon her own daughter, and it worked against her. As expected, the divorce dragged on. But the most important thing is that Ksiusha stayed with me, and she no longer remembered her mother. I wasn't upset about this, although I think that my daughter may feel hurt in the future. And Katya returned to the life she had left behind. Humiliation, abuse, and tyranny. Lyra, whom I am still glad to have in my house, told me about it.